So you gotta be careful. All right, let's dive in. I know we've already been here all night tonight. Let's keep the tutorial going. We got 8 levels and a final boss left here on World 6, Donkey Kong Island. Going directly into where we started the night, I kind of showed some things off. 6-1, Homecoming Hijinks. One of the shortest levels in the run, and I also think one of the hardest. Especially if you're me, I die in this level in runs all the time.
If you've got a second before you run right into it, sorry.
No, you're good.
One question somebody had, because there's a lot of like cycle-based things, like are there any beginner strats or backup strats that you would recommend? Or...
Yeah, like they're kind of, I think when it's like such a cycle-based game, it's kind of built in that if you're a little slow, you're just going to end up taking a slightly slower cycle. So like there's probably a lot of things that you could build in. Again, like I'm giving y'all the 5-hour breakdown of this game where like I could go into like, okay, since you know you're not going to make a certain cycle, you can be a little more chill getting up to that point. You know. But that's kind of its own built-in thing, I guess, in a way. So I'm trying to show, like, if you go for the good cycles, these are the things that you should shoot to go for. But yeah, it's tough in that regard. It's a punishing speed game in that regard. So let's pick up Cranky right here. Should still be able to stick in front of this. So right off the bat, there's a super difficult barrel blast I'm doing right here. A little trick shot. As opposed to having to wait the 2 seconds for the barrel to like get in position. Now coming up on this second section, we have a lot of avoiding of enemies we have to do. Kind of maneuvering around them. Neutral bop. Okay, yeah, that'll still work. And we try to go for the fling into the cruncher drop right here. Every time, dude. Do we want to exit the level? No, I'm actually... let me show you what it looks like with solo Donkey Kong, chat. So this is the strat I was trying to go for. It's called the cruncher drop, where you grab the top of that leaf and then you drop down and you go straight in the hole. You drop into neutral and then you hold right on the fall. Actually, I can kind of show off some backup strats here if you lose Cranky. Climb up this grass. And this is actually a fun backup where as this platform is flinging you, as it is almost stable, you release and it flicks you down. And if I time this correctly, I'll go right down to the end of the level. Ooh, I was a little slow there, so I nicked the wall. We can go for one more time. The cruncher drop I don't consider to be that hard of a strat. Hitting it in stride when you're going 1,000,000 miles per hour off that flick storage, yeah, that's what makes it pretty difficult. Go to the top, wait, go. This should be perfect. Yeah. That gets you down to the end, because otherwise you're kind of meant to like go on each of the platforms and eventually it'll fall down. You can jump to it, but that's a fun little backup you can do right there. So let's try this level one more time to see if I can get the full thing with Cranky. Otherwise, I'll just show it here in the clips. Once again, go for this barrel skip right here. Little trick shot. Ooh, okay, that's fine, that's fine. That was weird. Right here, try to roll through, stay under this Archie's attacks, roll through, boop. Okay, I'm not getting the speed there, that's fine. Flick off of this. There we go. And right here, you want to make sure you like ledge grab this, roll off, just roll for a while, and then neutral bop. and then pogo into the barrel. That's a super cool little ending you get to do right there, but it's very easy. Just roll off for a while, jump at some point, and then you'll neutral off the enemy and you get to pogo right into the barrel. So this is one where I made like 4 clips here. This is like a 45-second level, and it's like incredibly difficult. So I made 3 clips for it. So yeah, for this first bit, the big visual cue you need for this trick shot, so you have this like rainbow trail of bananas that's popping up. If you look at the top middle part of the screen, there's like this branch that's coming down, this kind of coily boy right there. As soon as the banana passes that, that's when you shoot. And that'll put you right there and you can keep on going. This is where you take your damage boost for the level. Bounce off this enemy. I generally do a little mid-air wiggle to make sure I land on this little tiny little platform, roll through, and continue the level. So once again, it's right as it's going to pass the branch. That's when you shoot, and you can keep going. For the second bit, this is for maneuvering past all these enemies. I didn't really hit it cleanly in the live version right there, but you make sure that you pogo. You don't pogo too hard, or you go up into his fish and you lose Cranky right there. Do a little short hop up, roll through this enemy, do a little jump. You want to pogo past the little spear enemy here, which if you have enough momentum off of that will allow you to neutral off of that fire Archie and then do a little baby bounce off the pogo up into the grass platform. Roll through, past him, very easy to take damage on the little poker enemy, and barely not get hit by this dude. Neutral, bounce, in we go. One more time for good measure. It's an awkward little section, but it feels good when you can chain weaving through all those enemies together. And then you go into this final section right here, where this is the flick into the crunch and drop. So you're going to notice right as this platform's coming around, once it faces about 5 o'clock, if you imagine it on a clock, that's when you can jump off of this and maintain all the speed from it with Cranky's cane. Right in front of the Archie, right after the pig. And what you want to do is you want to grab the very top of this grass platform, immediately release it so it's like a tap grab. Drop it to neutral, drop down, and hold right as you're going to go into that window. And you don't get hit by the big bunnies like little shock waves, and you immediately move on. Very slick looking stuff. It's a very fun level when it goes well. A lot of times it doesn't go well for me. Let's jump into 6-2. This is another brutal level at the start of World 6 right here. And this is one, once again, I will try to let the level speak for itself. We'll do some breakdowns on it afterwards. We're going to route in a damage boost a little ways into the level. You need to pull this a little out of the water so that I don't take damage on the icy water. Really? Okay, that was not supposed to happen. So we're going to have to do a little bit of a variation right here. If you take damage early, normally this is where you would take the damage. You would jump into the pool of water right here. And if you are right of center, it will boost you to whatever platform you're closer to, so you can cut out having to ride the vine. Another variation of this, another aspect to this backup is now I need to wait for this dude to chuck his first fish. So I sort of sandbag here for like half a second. Then I roll forward and we're good to go. So now we're back on cycle. Pull back a little bit to set up for this insta shot. Weaving past those enemies. Pogo. And this last section, it's just watch the video back, see where you're aiming each of these, and hit your landmarks. Hit your landmarks. So I don't think that level is as difficult as 6-1, but it is one of, if not the most punishing levels in the entire run. To go over it, right here at the beginning, Got each of these visual cues for where you land these. Off the fish blower right there, off the platform, off the hoots. I want to land on the left side of this platform I'm kind of on the trajectory for. If I land on the right or even too much center, I'm going to clip this first hoot right here. But if I stay on the left side, I can clear him, bounce off the second one, and that will put me onto this ring platform where we can start to pull up the ship, because Donkey Kong physics. I don't know how that works, but whatever. Jump through the hot hoots ring of enemies right here. If you pull it up even a little bit, just to back it up to show that, that is enough to get this icy water far enough out of, or this boat far enough out of the icy water to where your cane reaches down, but your little toesies do not touch down on the icy water. Go through here. Here's your series of enemies. I don't know why I cleared that to fall in the water back there on the live run, but whatever. So I'll see that again. Flower, fish blower, platform, off the hoots. Nice series of just neutral bops off that set of 4 enemies right there. And then you would set yourself up for the damage boost that I'm showcasing in this clip right here. As you can see, that allows you to just immediately roll ahead. Because you have iframes, this fish isn't going to hit you. You roll down halfway, do a series of cane bounces, and I always think of this as you kind of want to glide your way to the top of this enemy where you'll neutral bop, setting your trajectory to dodge both of these hot hoots enemies and land on the platform below them. Right here, this is very important. So we actually need to sandbag this movement slightly, and your visual cue is once you're going over this spear enemy right here, you pull back ever so slightly on the stick. It's subtle enough, you can probably notice it. Kind of stopped there to where you're going to roll off the platform behind him and go off and immediately blast through here, dodging the left one and barely dodging the right one. If that's too scary, if you don't want to lose Cranky, which I understand when you're starting off runs, just wait in the barrel until the one on the left is solo above you and you can blast underneath him. Waste a few seconds, but you don't lose your run right here because this is incredibly important. Maybe I should just push forward a little bit. This boat section, if you can't bounce across these 4 enemies, is extremely long. I would guess you're losing something in the ballpark of 25, 30 seconds, just kind of a random ballpark guess. And that sucks. That would be a lot of time to lose right there. And if you took an accidental point of damage with Cranky before this, he'd be gone. And you wouldn't be able to pick him back up until 6-4. So your choice, you want to go for that or not. It's a pretty good setup. Yeah, understandably pretty scary. And you go into that last section of the level. You get under the hot hoots and you keep on moving through. The visual cues are pretty good from there. So let's now jump into 6-3. Definitely the levels now chill out a little bit for the next 2. 6-3's got a fun little chain of bounces you can do at the start that I'll showcase. And then 6-4 is the final auto scroll over the run, which we'll obviously just skip right by. And I see Church talking about it like, yeah, to get to this point, this is a couple of 100 hours of playing the game. Probably a couple thousand I've actually dumped in over the years.
Yeah.
Roll on here.
I guess I forget how. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you. While I'm exiting out of the level, say what you were gonna say.
Yeah, I guess I forget just like how long it's been. Like in my mind, 2019 was not that long ago, but you've been running this game for a lot longer than I originally remembered. So.
Yeah, I've been running this game since it pretty much came out. I ran Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii for years before that. So this game came out in like February of 2014. I pretty much started running it in February of 2014. Obviously some level of on and off all the way through it.
Yeah.
So this is the section we'll break down afterwards, but you can maintain some momentum after sliding down that platform. And a lot of bobbing and weaving through all these enemies, utilizing them as your own types of platforms. To eventually get past that midpoint pig right there. Utilize some cane bouncing to get up onto this top shelf. 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll this one out. Go under this one to get into the barrel. And then we're going to use some cane bouncing to skip out on some lower parts down there. Gain some good height and get to the end of the level. Nice, relatively chill level after the two extremely difficult ones you just did. The only part I'm going to break down is that series of enemies right there. Oh God, we're almost at the top, chat. We got like 6 clips left. You all have gone on a journey with me tonight. So right here, you actually do maintain some momentum off this ice slide that you're going down. Where I'm trying to aim my cane bounce is right in front of this walrus to where I bounce off the floor, but I also flip bounce off of him, which will send me a little further on, making for better spacing right here. Bounce up to the top shelf. So you've got like this longer platform I'm on. There are the 3 pillars holding it up. Basically, I'm going to roll until I'm about to hit the middle pillar, and then I can do a big jump out of that to hopefully hit this hoot a little further into the screen. Neutral bop off that. Pogo. Baby pogo off this little fish guy. You do a little roll jump through this enemy so you can bounce at about where this flower is. Full pogo bounce off of the hoots, full pogo there, and then roll your way to the midpoint pig and out of there. So it's another fun like series of like you're using different sets of bounces, the neutral bops and everything based on the enemy. Neutral, pogo, baby pogo, roll right through him, big pogo, big pogo, roll to the end. Yeah, 6-3 not as big as 6-1 and 6-2, but still a fun level. I always love that section. 6-4, this is the final auto-scroller in the run. It's like 2.5 minutes. Do it, you'll be fine. 6-5, one of probably the last extremely difficult level in the run. A lot of big stuff you got to go for. This is one of the last spots where we get some really, really fun momentum conservation. So you got these platforms. We're going to maintain momentum after punching off of them. So you can see them right here a little more on display. I'll try to break it down afterwards with my clips. I got a bunch for this one. But you can see how you punch off of it. It shoots you forward. If you pogo, you can maintain that momentum, like so many other things in this game. For a good beginner strat, and this is still what I do, I run around this wheel 2 times. That manipulates this camera cycle to have this vine be on the far left side. There's a slightly more aggressive route you can do where you catch the vine when it's going a little more to the right. Saves about a second. I don't do it. I'm just teaching y'all what I know. Now coming up on this big boost, this is definitely the big moment of this level. What you're doing here is I'm going to drop into neutral. I'm going to pound this button. I'm going to do an immediate roll jump on the ground. Neutral bop off this big enemy, and then full pogo bounce off the hoots in the midair. That sounds like a lot. This is definitely a scary spot to watch, but I think it's actually extremely accessible for people to do once you understand that's what's going on. Boo. Quick roll jump, neutral, big pogo all the way through that entire section. Incredible speed right there, all the way into the barrel. Taking a damage boost right here. We're going to grab onto this wheel, and as soon as you're just going to actually be in neutral and let the wheel carry you to the top. Once you're at the top, that's going to be your cue to roll off of it. Wait. Go for it. Grab the ceiling. This platform drops down. Series of bounces. Roll off this one. Full pogo, neutral bop, minimum pogo, full pogo. Roll this one out. You're going to take damage here with Cranky intentionally. Roll all the way around go all the way around the wheel. When you get to the top, do a full roll and jump off with solo Donkey Kong to get to that last barrel and finish off the level. One of the coolest levels in the run. I've said it a million times, but I mean it. So let's break this one down. We got 4 clips for y'all. 3 of my final 5 clips are right here. So I think you want to... No, not this one. Is this the first one? Yes. So this is the first one where you're flipping over. Let this move you into position. This is the one we saw at the beginning of the level. Punch it. And normally the level wants you to re-grab right there. We're not re-grabbing. We're just going to utilize this to cane bounce. Cane bounce again up to this top shelf. Roll it out where you will roll. You'll keep rolling through the air underneath this snowflake and then jump. And again, it's the whole thing I didn't even bother bringing up in the tutorial. Cranky's cane, it can bounce off of snowflakes. That's pretty cool. And you can utilize that with actually, you have so much speed, it looks like this is a big bounce. It's actually just a little minimum bounce you're doing off of this. You have so much speed, it'll carry you all the way to that platform. Watch it again. Wait till it gets in place. Pound it. Pogo. Pogo. Roll. Jump. Pogo. Into the platform. So some really fun speed right there. And now let's once again break down this one. This is kind of the big moment jump. You are in neutral right here. As soon as it stops, you're going to pound it. You're going to do a immediately roll jump when you touch the ground. The longer you are on the ground for, the more that speed will depreciate. So that's why you want to do the immediate roll jump. Neutral, full pogo in the barrel. Neutral, full pogo in the barrel. And then we have here the final section of the level. Taking that damage, grabbing this wheel, wait till you're at the top, then roll off, catch the end of the grass, roll under a series of pogos until you clear this big boy, roll off here to set up for another set of full pogos. All of these are full pogos. Go off the first 2, that's a full pogo. This third one, neutral bop, so your trajectory goes down to set up for getting past this fish thrower right here. Minimum bounce right there. So the way I kind of think of it is I'm going to bounce off the belly of this enemy and not his head. Because if you go off his head, that fish is going to hit you and you're going to lose Cranky early. Not a big deal. You can still make your way through it, but it's less optimal. Roll this one out for a little bit of spacing. Roll another one out into the barrel. Again, you're going to walk around here. You're going to intentionally lose Cranky because you're going to pick up Dixie at the beginning of the next level anyways. Cranky doesn't actually save any time. Go all the way around, all the way around. When you get to the top, do a full roll jump with Donkey Kong and get to that barrel. If that last jump makes you a little nervous, you can just wait on the platform a little longer, just ride the wheel around a little bit more, and then you can roll to the barrel. Hell yeah, gamers. All right. Back in we go. We got 3 levels left before the final boss. We got 6-6 right here. Which, once again, you could tank Cranky out of the last level. He can debatably make some of this movement in the opening easier, but you're still going to catch the same Dixie cycle. You'll kind of just get up to the Dixie cycle and then just do more waiting. Want to get to right here, wait till you come up. Oh, might be going too slow to catch the Dixie cycle coming up. Might catch the very end of it. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't going to be enough. Is this cycle already going to be going? No, we're going. Okay, we're good. Oh, nice. We actually got the thing. I've actually kind of gotten a couple of really good boosts right there off of later enemies, allowing me to go a little faster through that section. For this last bit right here, I'll just go ahead and point out now before even doing the review. You want to touch certain points of the platforms. That will make the next part start spawning in sooner. Get up here, hold right. Anybody can do this. You are in a barrel below the level. That's supposed to send you to the end of the level. It's not intended to be this way. You have to hold right there in order to buffer falling into it. If you wait even just a little bit, the barrel's not going to be there and you'll fall and die. And you wait till now and you shoot it out. I'll have a visual cue I'll show you all. Let's review that one. So again,
pretty dope that you can just like hold right there.
Yeah, if you just go up there, anybody can just hold right and you're going to fall in the barrel down there. And what you're looking for is, imagine like, if you look right now, if you look at the bottom of the screen, kind of bottom center, there's basically like a triangle right there in like a gap opening in the platform you're looking at. As soon as that triangle is gone, that's your cue to shoot. So wait, shoot now. Because what you're doing is you're waiting for just the platform to move out of the way so you can shoot out of there. And it might just seem like, is that just like a swag strat? Is that safety? No, it is faster. Because otherwise you have to climb all the way around and eventually get to the barrel. With this, as soon as it's out of the way, you can shoot out of it and save a bunch of time. I didn't really review any of like the rest of that level. The biggest thing is just like a couple of spots where you roll and then you effectively are doing the same motion as those super bounces I was talking about in a couple of early levels to do big boosts off of enemies to clear other gaps and whatnot. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into 6, 7. I didn't make any clips for this one either. Another Dixie level right here. This is a level that optimally is actually done with Cranky. I never learned the Cranky strat, so I just use Dixie. It's a scary level because once again, there's only one barrel at the beginning and then you don't get another one the rest of the way. I'll try to show you actually a cheeky little backup strat, even a safety strat if you want it to be that. A little ways into the level. Because there's a mechanic in this game, a base mechanic that Speedrun for the most part doesn't use, but it is there. Little running back and forth between the foreground and the, foreground and the background right there in order to get going. After you hit this button 3 times, then you can wait for this door to get out of the way and then you can just start going. Right here, whenever the little electric orbs are underneath the platform, that electricity would hurt your Kong. So we want to avoid whenever that's going on. So wait there for just a little bit. Now go. You're going to go neutral off that. Jump from vine to vine to vine. You can see if you're just a little bit slow right there. Okay, so yeah, let's see like you did like I did right there. If you press L and R at the same time, there's this there's a mechanic in the game called Kong Pow. And it changes all the enemies on the camera at that point into something helpful. Diddy, one-up balloons, Cranky, they're coins. If you're Dixie, it changes them into hearts. And not just hearts, golden hearts. So if you look up at my health right now, that is extra health I have to work with right now. So when you're starting off in this level, I actually think a really good beginner strat, you sacrifice 3 seconds and you can kill those 2 or 3 enemies, turning them into yellow hearts. And now you have extra leeway to go through the rest of this level. Weave your way between those, ride this one up to this top shelf. Hover over that Omega helmed enemy. Hover between those 3 enemies, and then here's where you're gonna take your damage boost if you haven't taken damage up to that point in the level. Going through that entire section, setting up to eventually take your second damage boost right there and into the finish barrel. That's another one. I'm not going to stop. We're already well enough into the evening. I'm not going to give a big breakdown of everything going on in that level. For the most part, if you want to watch back the clips, you can kind of see all the visual cues for where you place all of your jumps. Final level of the run before the final boss, we got Meltdown Mayhem. We got one more instance of Rambi, the Rhombus. Good old Rumpus. Switch over to Cranky right here, which will utilize him for the rest of the game. And once again, we're going to want to utilize Cranky's cane in order to basically cut out as many little startups with Rambi as we can. For the most part, I'm just going to run through this level. There's one spot in particular I will break down for you guys when we get there. A lot of this level is very stop and go for just kind of knowing when the platforms are going to start falling down and when they're going to be in position. In that way, this makes it actually kind of a frustrating level that you got to do at the end. I was not paying attention. Can I? That stinks. I'm just going to start the level over. That was the one you had to wait to blast out of. All the rest of them up to that point, you just blast. Do it again. Because that's the cool section coming up. Now I'm like my boy Michael Goldfish back at GDQ 2015. Blasted out of the GDQ barrel. Like I said, it's a lot of stop and go. It's a lot of go, stop. Go, stop.
Yeah.
You still try to fit in whenever you can, cut out a little Rambi run cycle. That's good. Throw in a cane bounce instead. Saves about 1/10 of a second every time. Get up here, wait, go. Bounce up into there. Okay, blast, wait, blast. Probably not gonna nail this here, but I've got a clip for it. Yeah, so we had most of it there. I'll give a good breakdown of that little section. That could be a section where you basically don't ever see yourself have to start up a run with Rambi. Cranky's cane just lifts him through the whole thing. You can naturally lift, do a little chain bouncing right there. Run off here, keep slapping that Rambi booty. Wait for just a second here, then go. So that you clear that lava gap. I guess it's not a gap at that point. It's very full of lava. Here, wait until these pillars get out of the way, and then you are going to make your way through the last of the level. And you can try to do a little bit of optimization right here off the edge of these pogo. Cut out 3 run cycles, saving 0.3 of a second right there. The only section I'm going to break down right there, this is my last clip of the night, and then we're doing the final boss. So it's this part right here. The biggest thing is you want to land right in front of this one to where it chains into there on the lower trajectory, breaking that target. You always need to break those targets with Rambi, and then go down far enough to where you're going to dodge that Rambi crate above, so to where you basically climb up the stairs here and you go through the whole thing. So in stride, this is actually a really pretty looking section. A lot of it's just learning like where to place each of those cane bounces and how much sensitivity is on each of them to where you stay low enough to where you hit that middle shelf and then you keep on going up. With that, chat, we've been on quite the journey. It's been a 4-hour show getting to bring you everything about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze original mode. I just have to beat the final boss. Going here into Volcano Dome. The one who stole the Donkey Kong Island away from us. We fought our way back here. Let's take him out. Your last barrel back there if you need Cranky. This is actually a level where, like, there's not much difference between having Diddy Dixie or Cranky. So if you do come in here and you don't have one of them, take whoever you got. It's whoever you're going to feel comfortable with just hitting the backside of Frederick. I always kind of compared this to like Super Mario 64 where you have Bowser throws. It's an inherently simple thing you got to do. Doing it in a run can be pretty scary though. The big thing here is once again, visual cues, visual cues, visual cues. So you see right here where I am, I'm 3 full platforms away from him. When he starts running, I jump straight up in the air and I'll land each of these bounces. Frederick, for each of his 9 hits, there are 3 different running speeds he has: slow, medium, and fast. And the breakdown of them is kind of weird. For this first phase, they're all slow. So I want to be 3 platforms away from him. Boom, set yourself up. 2. And 3. Oh, he was over here. You want to bait him into doing 3 jumps right here, just in that exact pattern what I just did. Just makes him end it a little bit faster. And the nice thing about that first phase is they're all slow and they're all, you don't have ice physics like you have now. We're going to utilize the fact that we can slap the ground to stop our momentum in order to try to set ourselves up to not go slip sliding around on the ice. Wait for him to stand still, be on the ground, and then throw the enemy at him. I do want to note there is a way to do like early throws. You chuck them immediately. It's very difficult. I've never personally learned how to do them, but they can save you a good 4 seconds per cycle if you hit them correctly. But again, not easy. So now for phase 2, this is the hardest phase. The first run is going to be slow, the second one is medium, and the third one is fast. And you're on ice physics, so after you hit them, you want to get into position and then slap the ground so that you stop moving and you have your specific visual cue. So once again, for slow, 3 platforms away in the middle. For the next one, I want to be still 3 platforms away, but on the far side away from him. This is going to be medium. And for all of the fast ones, I want to be in between 3 and 4 platforms away from him. Oh, I didn't. Oh, hard out of pause. I will not restart the fight right here. I will not restart the fight. Again, it's hard when I'm pausing in between them because those really go bop, set up, bop, set up, bop, set up. And honestly, even down a Kong, Cranky does technically make it slightly easier because his cane reaches down a little bit. I'm going to try to just do it here with solo Donkey Kong. In theory, it shouldn't really be any different. And this kind of shows you how punishing it is to miss a hit It is 1 entire minute you lose for missing any of the first 6 hits. Because he's going through the second phase again, I can just do that. And he doesn't give you the opportunity to even get in extra hits for next phases. It's just a 1 minute time loss. Okay, so you're always gonna get this lava pillar pattern where we call it the pee your pants RNG, where it falls down just like blah, blah, blah. The first time you see this, unless your name is Kirby Master, you're gonna die. But I'm gonna try to tell you here, stand on the far one. As soon as it starts falling down, do a full roll jump towards Frederick to land on the other platform. I can't do it while I'm pausing. Okay, so we're just gonna die. I can't do it all, so we're gonna do the whole fight now. We're gonna do the whole fight, we're not gonna pause for it.
It is very difficult to unpause and get right back into it, especially when you're pausing as much as you
Yeah, and there's like ice physics you have to adjust to and everything. Okay, so here's the final boss. It's genuinely very difficult. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Because then all of a sudden your momentum's like not where it needs to be. But Frederick is one of those where like, I would say he's actually the second or third easiest. Probably out of the 6 bosses, he's the number 4 I would place him as in terms of difficulty in the run, behind the first, second, and 4th bosses. But you don't want to lose runs to him. You don't want to lose minutes to this boss. You want to practice this and feel really confident that you're going to go 9 for 9 every time you hit him. Because, yeah, it's a 1 minute time loss. I've been sitting here all night telling y'all, this saves 2 seconds, and this saves 3, and oh my God, this one saves 10. Yeah, you lose a minute for missing any of these first 6 hits, and like 25 seconds if you miss hits 7, 8, or 9. So yeah, non-negotiable, can't mess these up. Just kind of walk around. Make sure you're on the floor when you throw it so it's a lower trajectory. I see a lot of people the first time they play the game, they try to jump at him and throw it, and it goes way high arcing over his head. So that's a little minor thing to understand. All right, so here, phase 2, slow. This will be medium. And that's fast. So I'm gonna wanna land like 4 platforms away in the middle for each of them. So here's the pee your pants RNG. Yeah, so it's one of those, once you know it, just as the 5th platform, the far right one, is falling down, then you can roll off and get back to the first one. It's just like I said, that's so unfair the first time you play the game. Like, I don't know how you know that, it's whatever.
Yeah, that is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, you're gonna get murdered. It sucks. All right, hit 7, 8, 9. Got one more set of enemies coming down here. For these middle ones, it's always gonna be whichever one is falling down closer to you. The one that's lower to the ground, that's the one that's gonna have the enemy in it. Okay, so once again, slap in between the platforms, roughly where you wanna be. Jump straight up, that's the setup. 7, 8, and 9. And his hitbox, and that's GG, his hitbox looks a lot bigger than it actually is. It looks like, oh, you got that entire broad backside. Nah, it's really, you are aiming at his like shoulders every single time you do it. If you're a little too far up on him, even Cranky's cane, it can't bounce off of his helmet. His helmet is like super spikes, I don't know. And he curves away from you and you miss a lot of those, like kind of his backside, his butt and everything. You're really aiming for the shoulder pads. And with that, that's Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on original mode. Showcase for all of you in like 4 hours. These 4 hours have flown by. Was that 5 hours or 4?
It's 4 hours. It's really flown by,
Damn,
yeah.
man. That was 4 hours. Wow. We did it. Woo!
That was a really fantastic tutorial too. You, especially with those clips you saved, like, you really went in detail. I felt like you answered pretty much any questions I had. Like, you did a great job. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Church, thank you so much for having me on. It's like I said, I kind of view this as a really fun opportunity to actually put out a little bit of a tutorial. And again, everyone, like, obviously the way tutorials go, and I'm sure you've experienced this, Church, on a lot of your shows, there's way more detail you could go into. I told y'all what I could tell you at 4 hours. There were a lot of levels that I feel like I glossed over a little bit. You can. For the most part, I want this game to come off pretty accessible, that you can kind of just watch the clip. What you see is what you get. I wanted to pause a lot of spots to kind of show you this is specifically what you're looking for, this spot. Otherwise, this spacing of these cane bounces or anything don't work. But for the most part, I think anybody can pick up this run. I think they can have a lot of fun. It flows so beautifully the more and more you play each of these. And if you are watching this and you're like, I want maybe a somewhat easier run, but I want to get into Tropical Freeze, 100% recommend watching my good friend DKS, world record holder in this category. And let me make sure I get his YouTube channel right. EJIMAK, EJIMAK. Ejimac? I actually don't know how he says it. That's his YouTube channel. He's got an entire tutorial put up for the funky mode run of this game, or even though that is, yeah, it's easy mode technically, there are so many cool strats that only Funky Kong can do that the others can't. So if you want to get into it, that's actually a really good way to start off runs of this game. I like the original mode here. It's basically a retelling of the Wii U version, with just a lot faster loads, and it's really good in that regard. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope some of y'all consider, hey, let's get into Tropical Freeze. It's very fun. I had a lot of fun getting to showcase it at GDQ this past week. And now, once again on GDQ, with my good friend Church Sarge here, chilling with me in the call.
Yeah. It's you know, you in Tropical Freeze, like, watching you play it is always a blast. You know, this is at least the second time I've been either in a call with you or on stage with you, and it's always a blast. So before we, you know, sign off, I guess first of all, do you have anything else you would like to talk about on the subject, like the run, any other tips? I've got a few questions I've got lined up, so.
I think one thing that's really good is that, so there are time attacks in this run that are tied to each level. And they all have different, like, medals you can go for. There's bronze, silver, gold, and shiny gold, which is like a hidden time that you don't know about until you do it. But it's a little shinier, you can kind of tell, as opposed to a duller gold. For the most part in this game, if you even just want to start with those, if you can get golds, and especially shiny golds, in all of these levels that I just showcased you tonight, you're already well over 90% of the way to doing full runs of this game. But if you want to skip that step, again, you can also just watch some of the top times, watch what we do, and just kind of, you know, take them step by step. There's not a lot of hidden inputs in this game. What you see is what you get. Tropical Freeze, great speedrun.
So one thing that this run has that a lot of the other runs we've had doesn't is that level select. Like, that is a very helpful tool that you can use to, like, practice different levels. So, like, a lot of runs suffer from the problem where you practice the beginning of the run a lot, but you don't practice the last half of the run or the last quarter or whatever. So that, like, this game has, like, you can just practice, you know what, I've had really bad 6-3s. I'm going to go practice 6-3 right now for a little bit. That's really awesome. In general, so a little, like, off of Donkey Kong, do you have any specific tips that you like to give people who are looking to get into speedrunning?
Gosh, I mean, I always tell, pick a game you love. Like, at the end of the day, like, I I'm trying to sell this to people. If you have played Tropical Freeze and you had a lot of fun, it looks like a fun speedrun, I'm trying to sell that to you. I'm not trying to tell you if you hate Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze, or just like 2D platformers, like, don't run this game. I guarantee you there's something for you, and I really do think speedrunning is not this thing that God gamers do. I saw a lot of comments in the chat like, oh my God, like, Spike is so good at this, yada, yada, yada. First of all, there are people better than me. And I've dumped a couple thousand hours into this game.
Yeah.
It is, at the end of the day, my good friend Deo Man, who's been featured on GDQ Hotfix, GDQ the last couple of weeks for different stuff. I stand by always what he said about it. For the most part, the people who are at like the tops of leaderboards and everything, they have that is directly correlated to how much time they've put in. I don't want to say none of it comes down to like natural skill or anything. I think the more you speedrun, the more you kind of get a feel for like good practice habits and whatnot. But for the most part, the person who put in 10,000 hours is probably getting a better time than the person who put in 5,000 hours, who put in 1,000 hours, who put in 100 hours, who put in 5 or 10 hours. However much time you want to put in, that's what you're going to get back out. And you can roll around and feel like you're going super fast and having a good time in Tropical Freeze or whatever speedrun you want to go into in not that many hours. So...
yeah, that is one of the things that I like to, try to bring up is that it is pretty easy to get into speedrunning, but like if you take, so the one I typically use is SM64.
Yes.
Like you can put up a pretty fast time in Super Mario 64, but since that's such a competitive game, you'll probably be 100th, but it's still pretty fast.
Oh yeah.
But you're not gonna be, in that top 10 zone for a little bit. Like if you pick up SM64, you could probably, put up, I guess it depends on the category, but you could probably put a sub 2 hour in 120 star in a few weeks. But if you want to get to the 130s, you're looking at, a few months, maybe a year or something.
Right.
It's all, go ahead.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, I kind of almost equate it to like losing weight. Like sometimes, you got a lot on there. All of a sudden you put in just a little bit of work and a lot can come off pretty fast. We always talk about the fun of having like a second run where like the second time you do it, like, oh, those splits look great. They're all gold. You're saving a bunch of time. Yeah. But the further you go, the harder it is to just save those like 10 seconds you need at the end of the run to hit your goal time, hit a world record, hit a big PB, whatever that is for you. It's, it's a lot. So, and oftentimes like those people that you see that are above you on the leaderboard, they've just put in more hours. So don't ever discourage yourself and think that like, I can't do it. Any single person in this chat, I promise you can speedrun. Find a game you love, you can do it.
Yeah. Like that's one of the big things is like you don't see the the 1,000 hours Spike has put into this game. You don't see all the work people have put into it. When you look at a leaderboard, you just see, oh, Spike has a great time. It's a lot of practice, and if you put in the same amount of practice, you can get times like Spike, whoever's at the top of whatever super popular game. Pick a game you like, which I can't stress enough. You have to like the game. You have to,
because you're gonna hate it by the end of by the time you're done running it.
Yeah,
it's true though. Like you will learn every little kind of weird blemish about a game. Like, because like there are things I didn't really get into them tonight. I think this game is fantastic. I think this is as close to a perfect video game as you can get. I truly love it. But even it's got a few things where I'm like, why does it work that way? And it can sometimes feel like it can mess up your run, but you're gonna understand that. You're gonna understand that game way more than anyone who played it 1 or 2 times. You're gonna realize why you don't like the game. So pick a game that you love, so when you hate it, it's got some cushion.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of all I've got. If you've got anything else, feel free.
Follow me over at twitch.tv/spikevegeta. I like to stream almost every day. I take Fridays off, which is good. That's tomorrow. So I can sleep in tomorrow. That'll be good. But yeah, we do speedruns of all sorts of games. I'm actually going to be working on Kingdom Hearts after this. I actually just got my goal time in this game, so this feels almost like a little bit of a send-off for me from Tropical Freeze speedrunning. I got to run at SGDQ. I hit the 124, which was a time I had been wanting for a couple months now, so it was great to hit that. I'm on to future speed goals. And follow me on YouTube, SpikeVegeta. It's SpikeVegeta over there as well. All those sorts of things. Do that. Speedruns are cool. Randomizers are cool. Casual playthroughs are cool. Challenge runs are cool. It's great. Things are cool.
So this is going to be definitely check Spike out. I don't know that we've ever had this conversation, but Spike is kind of the reason I'm here right now. He is one of the 2 runners that I started watching to get into speedrunning. So, yeah. I bet you, 8 years later, I bet you didn't know that.
I had no idea. I was, that's awesome. I'm glad I got you into this. You're a good person. I'm glad you're part of the community. Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome to be able to, be here and have this kind of talk with you after 8 years, 9 years, I guess. But yeah, no, Spike is a great person. Definitely check Spike out.
I've officially dropped the grudge from losing the poker tournament to you back in 2014, 15?
2014. It was my first event.
It was 14. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 14 or 15 on that poker tournament. We were the last 2 in the GDQ backroom charity poker tournament. Unfortunately, Church took first. I was like, dang it.
It was close.
That was good. It was back and forth. It was engaging. That should have been on stream. It would have been great. But that's cool, man. I didn't know. I'm glad I got you into it. I'm glad I indirectly started the Grinch speedrunning community.
The best speedrunning community ever.
And the game looks sick.
It is. I can teach you anytime you want.
I was going to say, when's the How to Train a Speedrunner the Grinch?
Well, I did just have it on the Showrunner Showcase, so at this point, anytime I need a backup game, to be perfectly honest.
Well, my runner got sick. Okay, let's get in there.
Yep. Hey, Grinch. So keep an eye out for that, everybody.
Good stuff.
We could probably ramble on forever, so...
Yeah, we could chill forever. But this was a ton of fun, Church. Genuinely, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so glad about all the Hotfix shows that go on all year long. I think this is a really, really cool idea. Just like a built-in, one-shot tutorial series for different speedruns all throughout the year. And I look forward to catching more of these. I'm excited to see what other games you have on the docket for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of cool runs, a lot of runs that are... so obviously we want beginner-friendly ones. I might branch into a little more, intermediate-friendly once we've, got a lot of shows or games done. But definitely, yeah, we're going to have a lot of awesome games, popular games, maybe some indie stuff. So be on the lookout for that.
Heck yeah, gamer.
I do... Yeah, just before we close out, I do want to give one more huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for coming on, teaching the game. It's awesome to have very skilled, passionate runners teach their games. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
That is all for tonight, though. So before we go, I do just want to give 2 quick reminders. We do have Frame Fatales, which is going to be having its next all-women speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, from August 21st to 27th. The marathon schedule is going to be releasing technically today, tomorrow, July 8th. You can type !FF in Twitch chat, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information on that. And tomorrow we are going to be having a very special episode of the Hotfix. It is going to be a Sonic Origins special hosted by Amber Cypern and Hypnotics. That's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. What's Faster is going to be returning in 2 weeks, and it's going to be joined by a new show, Grudge Match, which is hosted by Brosentia. We do have a few new shows coming out in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out on that. With that said, we are going to take a quick break while we look for a raid target, so if y'all wouldn't mind sticking around to help cheer on somebody else who's doing a speedrun, that would be awesome. Have a great night, all. Thanks for dropping by.
Bye!